So when you first got the scripts for this, because trying to describe this, even writing a review or talking about this movie, it's impossible to describe without seeing it.
Yeah.
Did you have a concept of it from the script, or were you just totally blown away once you got on set and started filming it, or did you have a pretty good idea what's coming?
We were able to read the source material, the book that it's the graphic novels, the comic books that it's based on before any of us read the script, I think. So that gave us a visual reference, kind of to know what was happening in this kind of crazy universe. You know, in the script there are many things happening at once, like happens in the movie. So it's hard to read that quickly and imagine what that's going to be like all coming at you at once. But because we had the visual representation in the comics, it was easier to understand what was really going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely reading the books helped a lot. And for me, I think I was attached to the film like 2 years before we actually started shooting it. So I had a long time to kind of get used to, you know, what I thought it was going to look like and how it was all going to feel. And so I think by the time I stepped foot on set, I was very ready to live in that kind of crazy world of Scott Pilgrim.
Right. Now, is that hard, waiting for a 2-year transition from the time you get up for something and then your mind is completely somewhere else before you get there and you got to regroup? Or?
It was hard for me because I was so excited about this. I mean, I couldn't think about anything else. So I just didn't work for that whole time because I was just thinking about Scott Pilgrim, and I was training on my own. I was training in Kung Fu and just trying to be ready because they didn't really know when they were going to start shooting. They kept saying, oh, we're going to do it then, and then it kept being pushed back. And so I was just constantly ready. I was like, I'm ready when you are, guys. And so when we finally, you know, got to do it, it was just like, oh, we're finally here. And now having it finally come out is just like a whole new relief. It's fantastic.
Right. Now you talked about, you know, the training and all that. I know you were both encouraged to do your own stunts. That was one thing that they wanted. They wanted everybody to kind of do their own. Was that interesting? I mean, was that different for what you've done in the past, or was it toiling, or I mean, for both of you?
For me, I had never done anything like it. I had to do 2 months of mandatory fight training. I was training on my own beforehand, but got to Toronto and did 2 months of training, a boot camp style in the mornings, you know, Kung Fu style in the afternoon, and then fight choreography as well, kind of mixed in there with Jackie Chan's stunt team, who were just a fantastic group of guys and taught me a lot. And not only were amazing, you know, physically could do amazing things, but were also just like really great people and really made me want to make them proud and sort of, you know, do these fights justice. So I just felt really kind of empowered by that whole experience, and you know, to be able to learn all of those moves and be able to execute them on screen was really exciting.
I always try to do as much as I can myself. Sometimes time restrictions with certain movies, depending on the budget, you don't have the time to do that. On this film, pretty much everything you see of me is me. There's only one shot that's not me, and that was for this because of time. And you know, even the bass guitar stuff is all me. There's no hand double or anything like that. I had to. So my fight training was learning to play the bass guitar. So while everyone was fighting against each other, I was, you know, in a room by myself or with my bass guitar coach.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you that because you kind of have a sports background, so I didn't know if you had done the music route at all or.
Yeah, no, I did. I kind of, you know, thankfully I did a little bit of both. I was pretty much a nerd a little bit in high school, but I did
kind of grew out of that.
When I was in sports as well. I did, yeah. Well, yeah, a little bit. I peaked. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And out of my shell a little bit.
Yeah, and with you kind of had a musical background, though. You started in music and theater.
Yeah,
so
I didn't get to do any music in this film, unfortunately, but I got to fight, which was cool. But yeah, I started out singing and dancing, and I played piano and, you know, stuff like that. Just kind of always wanted to be on stage performing somewhere.
We're recording this show and talking about this movie. We're kind of plugging it as it's the movie for the ADD generation because of the quick edits and the hairpin turns in the script and all of that. I mean, do you think there's a huge audience for this, or is it really a niche audience? Who's the audience for this?
I think there are tons of us out there, and yes, it is for an ADD. I guess that's the thing. I don't think that I'm very, very ADD, and I really enjoyed the movie. It's really for several generations, people that grew up in the late 70s and 80s at the advent of the video games, and 90s into 2000s. Well, 2000s is a little bit getting a little bit early or late, but you know, so there's a broad audience there. I think. Of people who have grown up with this, the culture that's the pop culture that's really infused in this movie, and it's a strange movie to explain to people because it is so many genres, but it is a very unique experience, film-going experience, and I think word of mouth will really is going to travel great distances with this movie because it is such, like I say, a unique film that it'll reach past its intended audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had several people, a lot of people who keep coming up to us and saying, oh, I saw a screening of this film, and, I know it's not directed, towards me and my generation, but I loved it. So, I think people are kind of surprised that it actually does surpass, just the generation that it's kind of specifically targeted for, I think that it speaks to that, younger generation. It does kind of represent it in a way, the fact that the generation that I've grown up in and also the generation kind of coming up now, that everything is so fast and we expect information to be coming at us all the time, without a break and, without a second to breathe. And this film does kind of represent that. But at the same time, it's so funny and it's so entertaining and it's such a great story with such intelligence and wit and heart. And I think it's just a good movie. And that surpasses generations, I think.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun. I appreciate your time today, and it was a blast visually and everything. So yeah, good luck with it.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Yeah, you bet.